everyone, it's Christina from the DIYmommy.com, and today I want to show you how I made a DIY boho inspired light fixture from a builder grade flush mount light fixture. This DIY only cost me about $7 Canadian per fixture. I used most of the original fixture in my camper to create something really fun and boho inspired, and I'm so excited with how this one turned out. I am standing here in our almost finished main area of our DIY camper 2.0, and I'm going to show you the whole thing in a video coming up soon, so make sure you're subscribed to my channel so you don't miss that. I cannot wait to share this space with you guys. All right, let's get started on this $7 boho DIY light fixture. Here's what I'm starting with in our DIY camper. It's your typical flush mount fixture, or a boob light if you will, if you want to call it that. I'm removing all of the nuts and the bolts off of this glass section of the light and removing this glass portion. I might save that and use it for something else later. Next, I'm just loosening up the screws with my drill and pulling down the metal portion of this light fixture just so that I can tuck some cardboard behind it. Now, if you're working with electricity, make sure you turn off the electrical before beginning, and if you have any questions, consult a professional. I'm lucky because my husband is an electrician, so if I run into any snags or have questions, I can ask him. I'm using Rust-Oleum's Pure Gold Metallic Spray Paint. It's the spray paint that I've used throughout my camper on all of the other things like the handles and spray painting everything. Make sure to use proper ventilation and equipment when you're spray painting. You could also completely remove the fixture altogether. Just make sure to remove the little light bulbs before you do any spray painting of your fixture. Then I went into Cricut Design Space. A Cricut, if you don't know, is a cutting machine, and I made this little template for the top and the bottom of the beaded portion of my light fixture. Now, I'm doing this because I have a Cricut and I had some leftover stiff cardboard on hand, so I wanted to create these little templates with cardboard, but you could use other materials for this depending on your light fixture. You could use something like an embroidery hoop and drill some circles into it with a drill. You could use a metal hoop and you could wrap a string around it. This is totally up to you, but since I had these materials and the voltage on the light bulbs in my camper is very low, I thought I could make these cardboard rings, and they would be nice and even because my Cricut is cutting out all of the holes. If you want to use my Cricut Design Space template, I will link it down below. Now, I found this pack of beads from Amazon, and I already had this string and this needle on hand. I discovered how many beads I needed to make about the same shape and size as the metal light fixture, which was 10 beads in multiple sizes. Next, I took off quite a bit of string, probably a little bit too much. I just made sure that I had enough string to go all of the way around my light fixture and use all of my beads. Then I went in one of the holes on this large ring that I cut out, and I made sure to tie it really well with a square knot on the end. This whole pack of beads was $26 Canadian on Amazon.ca. I'll make sure to link it down in the description box below, and I only used half a pack of these beads for 2 light fixtures. So really I only spent around $7 Canadian for each of the light fixtures because I had all of the materials at home on hand already. I wanted to tuck the tail of the string into the beads that I started with, so I wrapped some painter's tape around the end of it and I threaded it back up into the beads. So I put 3 large beads on one of the strings, then I put 3 of the next size of beads, and then 2 of the smaller size, and then finally 2 of the smallest size to create this pattern that I wanted. Depending on the size of light fixture that you're making, you might need a different amount of beads or different sizes. This is something that you can play with your fixture. Once I strung all of the beads on my first strand of string, I then strung the needle through one of the top holes of this top little piece that I made with cardboard, and then down through the next hole beside it. Then I went ahead and I took the smallest beads to the biggest, so I basically reversed the pattern that I created because now I'm going from the bottom to the top of the light fixture. So I have 2 small beads, 2 of the next size beads, 3 of the bigger beads, and then finally 3 of the biggest beads. So I'm creating the same pattern I originally started with, but in reverse. And this is essentially how I'm going to be making the entire beaded portion of this light fixture. Once I have the second strand of beads all finished, I'm going through this little hole on this larger ring that I created with my Cricut. and then I'm going up through the next hole with my string and my needle. If you don't have any of this macrame cord on hand, I'll make sure to link it down in the description box below. You can easily find it on Amazon. I continued in this way all the way around the large and the small rings. Again, you could use an embroidery hoop, you could use a metal ring, you could use a lot of different materials depending on the light fixture that you are DIYing and upcycling. You could also do other little alterations. You could dye these beads, you could paint them. I did want a natural look for this light fixture because I did want a little bit of that boho flair in our DIY Camper 2.0. If you've been following along on the renovation, which I'll make sure to link down in the description box below, you'll know that I'm doing more of a modern, feminine glam sort of look. However, I wanted to add a little bit of one of my favorite styles, which is bohemian. Now I'm on my final strand of wood beads. You can see I'm going from the small ring to the big ring, so I'm doing the smallest beads to the largest beads and making sure I'm following my pattern. For my light fixture, I decided to have 16 strands all the way around. You might need a few more or a few less depending on the look you're going for or the size of fixture that you are creating. So now at the end, I'm making sure to tie a nice firm square knot around the final portion of my template. You want to make sure that your string is pulled nice and tight so that you have a nice tight look to this fixture. Once I'm finished knotting it securely, I'm taking my needle and threading it back up the bottom 3 beads just so I can hide that tail of the string. And then I'm just snipping that original string as well so that I have a nice finished look. And here is this portion of the beaded light fixture all finished. I am using these Gorilla hot glue sticks. These are not like your regular glue sticks. They're almost like super glue. They're good for indoors and outdoors. And I'm taking the glue and I'm applying it to 2 of the sides of this little beaded portion of the light fixture that I made. And then carefully I'm applying them to either side of the spray painted metal portion of the light fixture, making sure that it is nice and secure. And then taking that Gorilla hot glue and gluing all the way around the whole little cardboard portion. Again, you might have to use a different material depending on the light fixture that you are DIYing. But for the RV, I've had this up for over a week now, and so far so good. I am really happy with the grip and how this hot glue is keeping these fixtures on. After I glued this entire portion of the light fixture onto the frame, I'm putting back the washers and the nuts here. I also spray painted the bottom little trim pieces of the original light fixture, again with that Rust-Oleum metallic pure gold spray paint. I screwed the washer up inside just enough to match the original light fixture's look. And then I'm putting this bottom little portion on the light fixture to finish it off. So just a reminder, here's how the original flush mount fixtures looked. And here is my DIY boho beaded chandelier. It cost me $7 Canadian. It might cost you a little bit more if you have to buy some of the products, but it is so cost effective and I think they look so chic and elegant. I'm excited about the texture and the style that they add to the camper, and if I get tired of them, it's easy for me to switch these out if I want to later. I love how these turned out and I can't wait to show you more of the camper. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down in those comments below what you thought of this DIY. I would love to know. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel to stay tuned for the whole reveal of this camper main room makeover. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more DIY and home decor ideas on a budget. And I'm gonna leave some more videos that I hope you will love right up here.